In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at some of the common 3D shapes that we will learn in Key Stage 2. We'll start with an introduction and then we're going to move on to different 3D shape types. So we'll look at cubes and cuboids, then we'll discuss pyramids, and then we'll look at what it means when a 3D shape is called a prism. And then I'm going to give you lots of ideas and links to plenty more 3D shape activities that you can do either in your home, or you can do online, or you can print things off to have a go at. Here is a look at my 3D shape poster. Now this poster is available on the Pocket Private Tutor app. So if you are in Year 5 or Year 6, if you download the app, it's free on the app stores. You can see there are 5 lessons which are linked to geometry, and we have posters for 2D shapes, we have posters about circles and posters about 3D shapes. I'm going to talk through some of the shapes from our 3D shape poster today. So a polyhedron, if you think about 2D shapes, they're called polygons. Poly means many. So polygons are our 2D shapes, that means many angles, and our polyhedrons are our solids with flat faces. So some common polyhedrons are a cube and a cuboid. Then we have a dodecahedron, an isosahedron, and an octahedron. By the end of Key Stage 2, you should start to learn about how many faces, how many edges, and how many vertices 3D shapes have. I will talk through a little bit in this lesson what faces, edges, and vertices means. And I have got a link to a free downloadable template of nets that you can print out, cut out, and build. And the nets are colour-coded so that you can clearly see what an edge is, what a vertices is, and what a face is. Let's have a look at our cube and our cuboid. These are 3D versions of a square and a rectangle because they are very similar. But the difference between a cube and a cuboid is that in a cube, every face is the same size. Every width, every length, every depth has the same measurement. So if the cube has a width of 3 centimetres, the depth and the height will also be 3 centimetres. You can see that both cube and cuboid have 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Now under the cuboid, I have that it's also a rectangular prism, and that will make more sense when I move on to discussing what a prism is. But you can clearly see on the picture that the cuboid is not the same size all the way along. It has one square face here. It has another square face the other end, but these all around the edge, they're rectangles. So here and here could be the same, the width and the height could be the same, they don't have to be though, but the depth is different. So with your length, your width and your depth, they will have 3 different measurements, or they'll at least have one different, they won't all be the same. Let's have a look at the net that you could print and download and print, which I have put a free link to in the comments and at the end of the video. So print out your templates and cut them out as I have done here. And it's quite important that you cut down the sides even through the yellow circles here into the corner. And then what you want to do is you want to fold along all of these lines. So you're going to fold the tabs over. So that all these bits are folded. So fold along all of your shape like this so that all the faces fold as well. And then you can start to assemble it. So all of the faces will join. When you've got tabs like this, you can glue along it or sellotape or just fold it. It doesn't have to attach. but you can see here I folded along, that circle will just fold on top of the other circle. And then you can put these other bits in the side, fold up the tabs and slot them in. And you'll start to create your shape. If you have too many tabs, you can always cut bits off, but you'll see that they all slot in. Okay, so I haven't glued mine, I've just folded it. It's not perfect, but I have folded it up and slotted it in. I have had to trim some of the extra tabs and things off, but you can play around with it till it works. You can see when you do have it folded up, you've got a cuboid. The yellow indicates the vertices, they are the corners. Okay, we call those the vertices. You can count how many vertices there are. That is 1. It might have a yellow on that side and a yellow on that side, but it's one circle. So that one circle is one corner. It's one vertices. We don't count part of it that side, part of it that side, and part of it that side. All of that yellow circle is one vertices. One vertex. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you can look at the faces, count all the faces all around. And then our blue, these are our edges. So again, that edge on this side here, we don't count it 1 on this side, 1 on this side. That's one edge. It's shared with this face and that face. They share one edge. So that's one edge. That's 2 edges, 3 edges, 4 edges. I have 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then on the other side I have 9, 10, 11 and 12. Okay, again with my cuboid, so again I haven't glued this, I'm just roughly showing you how you can put this together. You can see on it that you can look at all the faces, you can look at the edges in blue, and you can count the vertices, so the yellow in the corners. Okay, so cut them out, and if you've got some glue, just cut out the tabs and any extra bits, and then you can glue the tabs down. Okay, so we've got cuboid and cube. Next we have our pyramids. Now our pyramids are always meet at a point at the top. So a pyramid is identified by that point that they meet at the top. In Key Stage 2, the main pyramid you're going to learn about are square-based pyramids. So they are a pyramid where the base is made out of a square, and then the sides are triangles, and they all meet at one point at the top there. And we have a tetrahedron, which is a triangular-based pyramid. It has a triangle at the bottom, and the sides are triangles that all meet at a point at a top. Each one has different amounts of faces, different amounts of edges, and different amounts of vertices. You can also get different based pyramids, but we only need to learn about square base and tetrahedrons in Key Stage 2. So again, I have a printable template of 2 of our different types of pyramids. We've got the tetrahedron, which is the triangular base, and the square-based pyramid. I'm going to demonstrate just with the square-based pyramid now. So you can cut it out, and again, fold along the blue lines, fold along the tabs, and then you're just going to pop it together. So you might want to glue along the tabs. I would glue along the outside of the tab and then glue the outside of my pyramid to it like that. Put it all together and I end up with something like that. Now I actually only left the yellow circle on one tab. I cut them off the other ends. Now what I could do as well is you could cut along your circle like that and like that, so that you can paste it down over the other edges. But just for the idea, for the concept, you can see that that would meet at a point. It doesn't need to be exact to get the idea that that is one of the corners. So you've got your vertices at the bottom and they meet at, the triangle meets at a point at the top. You can see that all the faces at the side are triangles and that the base is a square, which is why it's called a square-based triangle, square-based pyramid. So the triangular-based pyramid would have a triangle at the bottom. And because a triangle only has 3 sides, it would then only have 3 triangles around the edges. So both pyramids have different amounts of faces because of the amounts of sides that the base has. Square has 4 sides, so 4 triangular faces. A triangle has 3 sides, so 3 other triangular faces around the edge. Okay, so fold them both up, have a look at them. How many edges, how many vertices, how many faces? Okay, so next we're going to look at prisms. Now, I always find prisms very interesting. If you understand the concept of what makes a 3D shape a prism, you will be able to name loads of 3D shapes and recognize them. Okay, so on the screen we have a triangular prism, an octagonal prism, and a hexagonal prism. They're all called prisms because of a very special fact, and that is that if you cut across any section of the shape, the face will stay the same. So the name of the prism is the name of the shape at each end. So have a look at our triangular prism. It's got a triangular face here and a triangular face at the other end. So it's a triangular prism. The octagonal prism, it's got an octagon face and an octagon face at the other end. The shape faces at each end are the names of the prism. Hexagonal prism has a hexagon that side, hexagon that side. So you could have a heptagonal prism. You could have a, so we've got a 6 and 8 sided. You could have a pentagonal prism. So whatever polygon you can think of, you could have as a face, and those faces would be at each end of your prism. Now for every side of your shape, so 3 sides in a triangle, 8 sides in an octagon, 6 sides in a hexagon, that side has a rectangle. Every side has a rectangle. Okay, it's the same in the triangular prism. They're all rectangles. If you've got an 8-sided shape like an octagon, it will have 8 rectangles that join. So you'll have 2 faces, 2 shapes which are in the shape of the name. So 2 octagons, 2 triangles, 2 hexagons, and then you'll have rectangles, and the amount of rectangles will depend on how many sides there are in your shape. So 8 rectangles for an octagon, 3 rectangles for a triangle, and 6 rectangles for a hexagon. Now, if I was to cut, imagine this was a slice, imagine this was like a cake or a tube. If I sliced along here or I sliced along here, anywhere I slice along, it will still be the same shape. It will still have a hexagon face and rectangles for the side, but it would obviously be a different size, but the face will stay the same. If I cut across this way, lengthways though, obviously if I cut across that way, the shape would change. But if I cut across that way, anywhere along it, then the face will stay the same. So here we have a triangular prism because we have 2 triangular faces, and then we have 1, 2, 3 rectangular faces because we have 3 sides in a triangle. So you can have a go at putting that together. I did say earlier on as well about the cuboid being a rectangular prism. If I pick up my cuboid again, it's a rectangular prism because if I cut across here, 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 the ends, the faces are going to stay the same. If I cut across there, it will be shorter, but that face will still be a rectangle. Okay, even if I did it this way, it's still a rectangular prism. If I cut across there, it will still have the same face. Okay, it's got two rectangle faces there, and then 4 rectangular faces because there are 4 sides in a rectangle. Let's have a look at the triangular prism, at putting one of those together. Okay, so I have printed and cut out my triangular prism, and I have folded along the lines. I've also, in the yellow circles here, put a little cut so that I can fold that tab back. Here I've made a cut, and along here as well. And then I can start to fold up. And then you have something a little bit like this. Okay, so you can see your triangles at both ends, and then your rectangles. There's 3 rectangular faces around the outside. You can also count the vertices: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can count the edges in blue. You can just generally look around your shape and explore a bit more about its properties. So I hope that gave you a good basic introduction into different types of 3D shapes. There's loads more that you can learn, and there are more shapes. I didn't show you how to put together the cylinder, but there's loads of information on 3D shapes you can find out online. Some activities you can do. What 3D shapes can you find around your house? Good one to think about is food packaging. So look in the freezer at the different types of food packaging, or drinks bottles. What kind of 3D shapes do they use? Can you find things that are made up out of different 3D shapes? What about any containers? Could be shampoo bottles, toothpaste tubes. Just start having a look around and seeing what kind of 3D shapes you can spot. What about flower pots or candles? What kind of shapes are they? About the furniture in your room, in the house, what kind of shapes are they? So you can also print and build our free downloadable 3D nets and start to explore how many faces, edges, vertices. It's really good to actually print them, hold them in your hand, because there's lots of visualization activities that you're asked to do at the end of Key Stage 2, especially when you come to doing your SATs, Key Stage 3, in your GCSEs. Sometimes you have to visualize a shape and what could be on opposite faces, but you have to identify them on a net. So the more you get engaged with holding them and seeing them, looking at the nets, the more a better understanding, a deeper understanding you're going to have on 3D shapes. Another activity, another challenge: how many different net layouts can you create for a cube? I've given you one example of a net layout for a cube in my printable download, but you can create the net of a cube with a different layout. It doesn't have to be the 4 along with 2 each side. Can you make some different ones? Can you explore them? Investigate. Have a look on the Maths is Fun website. You can explore some 3D shapes. So you can look at the 3D shape, you can spin it round, you can explode it. So go on the Maths is Fun website. I'm going to put the link in the comments. I've also got a 3D shape quiz on Kahoot. So all you need to do is follow the link and then enter with the pin that's on the screen, and you'll be able to have a go at a 3D shape quiz. I've also put loads more links in my comments, linking to different online interactive games, tools, and some printable worksheets. So loads of things there to get you engaged and learning about 3D shape. You do not have to be in year 5 or 6 to be learning the names of shapes. You are more than capable of learning the names of shapes in year 3, 4, 5 and 6, even younger. So have a go and let me know how you get on. So I will put all of these links into the comments so that you can click on them and go straight to them, but there are loads and loads of different activities there. So if you want to have a look at some more lessons, some fuller lessons on geometry for year 6, but year 5 could also benefit. There's lots of objectives which overlap year 5 and 6. So we've got activities, lesson videos and past stats questions. Then have a search for Pocket Private Tutor in the app stores. It's free to download. You get free access to 6 lessons and it's only $4.99 a month to access all the lessons. So if you pay the $4.99 for a month, you will get access to all of the 7 lessons which are on geometry in Year 6. Don't forget to check out the links in the comments for a free copy of our printable 3D net and also lots more 3D shape activities to keep you occupied. Hope you've enjoyed the lesson today and I hope you've learned something new. Please let me know how you get on with all the different activities.